On the way, we'll be catching up with Lee Keegan as he knuckles down to yet another year in search of that elusive Sam Maguire. We've got Colm Cavanagh on the show, who's tasted club success with the Moyes, and will be without his brother Sean at inter-county level for the first time this year. On the way in the football show, Graham Potter, the English manager at the Swedish underdogs, looking to end Arsenal's European adventure. Graham Hunter on Barcelona's love for the Copa del Rey, and Clarence Seedorf's installation at Deportivo La Coruña. And of course, it is Wednesday night, so Wednesday night rugby with Liam Toland and Rory O'Connor looking ahead to Ireland versus Italy and the potential changes that we will see to Joe Schmidt's starting 15. Hello to our Facebook Live viewers and indeed all viewers on social media channels. I have to awkwardly stare down a camera and deal with all your wonderful comments throughout the course of the rest of the evening. It is hello as well to Kevin Kilbane and to Will O'Callaghan. Evening, gents.
Evening, Richie.
Rich. Oh, plenty of positive comments, won't it? Yeah.
No, there will. Do you know what I had to put? See, this is the new life you have when Joe Malloy is swanning off away in TV3 preparing for life in the Six Nations. Like comments like on Sunday, you know, these things wound, Kev. They kind of leave.
But what did we say? We predicted this. We predicted what would happen, Rich, didn't we?
That we'd get a pasting.
No. We predicted that Joe would feel now that's it. We're beneath him. Well beneath him now. He's moved on to different sort of stratospheres.
Well, it's like we were saying yesterday out in the office. I mean, how long is it before Joe gets asked to do and to fill in for an Ireland AM?
Yeah,
I mean that's got to be the next logical step.
Well, I think you've touched on it a few times. He is all showbiz now. Expose. We can do a guest slot on Expose.
It could do with the male touch on Expose. So why not? But I'm figuring it's going to be Ireland AM or Saturday or Sunday, because Tommy's made that natural progression. He's done really, really well.
Oh, he's a handsome chap.
He very definitely is the most handsome
nation's favourite.
But I just want to hear the words, and this is just all I'm hoping for in the career of John Malloy. I just want to hear him at least once say before the end of this year to camera, now with Christmas rapidly approaching, and just see the light in his eyes just recede just a tiny bit.
I think he might die inside if he did that, actually, but there you go.
He'd love that.
Yeah, maybe
he would love that. So yeah, your comments most welcome. You can text us as well as ever, 53106 for 30 cents. You can tweet us at Off the Ball, Periscope, Facebook Live, all of those things. We'd love to hear from you over the course of the night. It's going to be a busy one because we're going to be keeping tabs on Newport and Tottenham at Wembley in that FA Cup fourth round replay. As I mentioned, Lee Keegan is going to be on the show. You got to catch up with the proud Mayo man, one Mayo son to another. So we're going.
I mean, what a player!
You're full of admiration for it. Like, I was talking to you outside in the office about Keegan's wherewithal as a player. And you're just like, it's not as if you're some Johnny come lately. You're admiring what he's able to do and the work he's able to put in on the pitch.
He's a hell of a player, isn't he? That's the thing. Yes, of course, I think we all know that. But I just think the recovery from this injury that he's had, because I was chatting to him as well a little bit around the hip injuries, that, you know, we may see a problem with this. We probably are seeing a problem with it. A lot of GA players suffer with their hips, and particularly when they come to the end of their career as well. And he seems to have come back really quickly from the operation, and he seems to be in great shape, ready for which he would hope to get back before the end of the season.
Is that a worry from his point of view, coming back too soon almost, or especially with something like a hip where it's like it's not necessarily one of these. It's one of these things that'll niggle at you. Well, you might even notice it
again. I mean, he's taken you take all the advice, don't you? You take all the advice, you do all the correct steps, you're doing all the right procedure that's taking you to full recovery, and he's done everything, certainly what he's been advised to do. And I mean, just what you're saying, there's always that risk, isn't there? I think with any injury, when you're coming back from it, if you come back and you don't do the necessary things, you maybe cut a few corners, then that's what can happen. You end up coming back and you end up breaking down, you get serious injury. But he seemed in great shape, so hopefully, we think we all touched what I think the whole of Mayo, we're waiting for his return.
You can tell there's a caveat there. You know, the Dublin gang are going to be coming on text and Twitter within the next few moments. But Lee Keegan on the way. That's just going to be coming on the way about 7:30 on the football show as well tonight. As I mentioned, Graham Hunter talking about the installation of Clarence Seedorf at Deportivo La Coruña. A really interesting appointment, because this is a guy, without wanting to go all Dunphy, this is a guy who was turned down for the Oldham job, and suddenly he's found himself.
Was he turned down for the Oldham job? I mean, you're kind of throwing something out there. Then. Was he definitely turned down?
He was interviewed for the Oldham job, and they opted for Richie Wellens. This happened in October, November of this season. Like, you're talking about a guy who's represented Real Madrid, AC Milan at the highest level.
This is you sensationalising a story, Rich. I feel here.
How is this sensationalising?
Because how do you know he was turned down for the job? He was interviewed for the job, or he was spoken to about the job. Yeah. Did he turn Oldham down? Did Oldham turn him down?
I doubt he had a false interpretation of what Oldham was like. Rocked up to Boundary Park and was like, looked around and went, actually, think I might give it a crap.
Have you ever been to Oldham? You've never set a foot out of Ireland, so how would you know?
Right. Give me 3 positive points about Oldham.
Oldham, Boundary Park.
Right. Yeah. Beyond the football ground.
It's Greater Manchester. It's a good place to be. Good people, good down-to-earth people that live in Oldham. There's 3 positive points for you straight away.
This is a Clarence Seedorf who has lived in the sprawling metropolis that is Madrid, in Milan. He's spent time in Amsterdam, obviously, with Ajax. He lived in Genoa for a spell, playing for Sampdoria.
Well, it's in the Greater Manchester region, isn't it?
So you're giving him great people, Boundary Park.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. He's gone to Deportivo La Coruña in La Liga, so I mean, he's chose wisely, hasn't he? Let's be fair. But yeah, I think you're downplaying the impact that Oldham's had on many a person.
Well, they've opted for Richie Wellens, so it's not him that goes to Deportivo. It's Clarence Seedorf, and we'll get Graham's view on that and the job he has ahead of him. As we mentioned as well, that Spurs replay tonight, playing Newport County at Wembley in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Some interesting comments from Mauricio Pochettino in the lead up to this game. Obviously, given the nature of the penalties and all that went down at Anfield this past Sunday, and talk of Dele Alli and diving and all that kind of stuff. Look, there are a lot of positives from Dele, said Pochettino. Of course, he's not perfect. Nobody is perfect, of course. He's a clever boy. He's a little bit nasty. The problem is that more than this type of situation, I am worried we're going to change the game that we know. Football is a creative sport in which you need the talent that grows in a very intelligent person and a smart brain. And now we're so focused on minimal details, I'm worried that in a few years we are pushing the sport we love now, a passionate sport that people love to watch around the world, into a very rigid structure, said Pochettino, with VAR focusing too much on small actions like this. So picking up on the minutiae like this, good or bad thing?
On the diving,
he's saying that this is going to have. First of all, we'll get to the diving in a moment, but he's saying this is going to have these kind of that kind of scrutiny on Ali is going to have a negative impact on him, which I would imagine is a little bit of BS, because if he is diving,
I'm with you there. Yeah, if he's diving, you want to be pulled up on it. It's not ingrained in our culture, is it? In our mindset, is it? That's the thing. So when if we're watching Premier League games, we're disgusted by it. That's basically what it is. And I would have grown up maybe with that mentality myself as well, raging when someone's dived to try to win a free kick or a penalty, whatever it would be. But this is happening all too often with Dele Alli. Are you going to take anything away from his game? I don't necessarily see that. I think he's got to learn from it, and then just to try and adapt his own game. I think he's maybe clutching a little bit there. He's just trying to defend his player there, Richie Pochettino. That's the only thing I'd take from that.
Well, he also attempts to defend diving in and of itself, does Pochettino, because as football is about trying to trick your opponent, yes or no. Tactics, what does tactic mean? When you do tactics, it is to try and trick the opponent. You play on the right, but you finish on the left. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we all congratulated a player when he tricks the referee like this. That is the football that I was in love with when I was a child. Yes, in Argentina, but in England too, says Pochettino. You believe that in England you were always honest and always perfect?
No, I'm sure diving has happened across the course of my career. It's just probably not as regularly as we would see it now. That's the only thing. But I mean, that comment, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? Really, I think again, to go back to my point, it's not in our mindset. So anyone that we see diving, you're kind of outraged, because we don't. I wouldn't want my children or our children that's coming into the game now as well to be brought up with that sort of mentality that diving's acceptable. I wouldn't want that. I mean, that comment's almost as ridiculous as Will saying that the old 7 Man United team is better than the 99 team.
Well, you did put this.
I have to bring it up, Rich.
Will O'Callaghan did put out one of the great Twitter debates.
I'd like Will to explain it to me. Actually.
Out in the office, the fisticuffs were nearly brought about in the office today, because Will O'Callaghan was saying that one team is better. This is a typical pub debate, but you're willing to roll your sleeves up and get involved.
Can you clarify the whole story, Will, please?
So my suggestion was earlier, the 2007-2008 Man United team that won the European Cup that year was better than their treble-winning side of 98-99. They accumulated more points in the league. Right. I think it was 87 against the United 99 team, won in the high 70s, early kind of low 80s. And yeah, I think I'd probably take them as a more balanced team than the 99 team. I'm not
gonna be too patronising and whatever it would be. The laugh probably a bit out of order, because I'm giving him the Graham Hunter treatment there. But that's outrageous, Will. I'm not having that. Sorry, that's just outrageous.
So I know Kev's argument is going to be, you take the 11 that United would have had in 99, which would have been Schmeichel in goal, back four, Neville, Stam, Johnson and Irwin, and then a midfield of the four guys: Giggs, Beckham, Scholes and Keane, and York and Cole up front.
Yeah.
They only played together once that season.
That was one of the most remarkable threads. There was that thread came out on Twitter last week.
I know that.
Miguel Delaney was getting involved in it. It was Duncan Alexander who does the Opta stats, was pointing out, he was like, name a famous team that you might imagine the United 99 one, the Liverpool one of 88 say. Or
how many times did 10 of that 11 start? How many times did 9 of that 11 start?
But all start together and you'd be amazed.
I get that.
Even going to, like, they were like pointing out, how about that mid-90s Forest side with like Steve Stone and Steve Chettle and Ian Woan on the left and Stan Collymore and Brian Roy up front. How many times they started?
That Rich,
and he was saying that they're like, never.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
But I'm not even looking to argue that 1 to 11 if we do a player by player by player.
You're saying that season?
I think that season and that team were more balanced than the 99 team. And I think I'd fancy the 08 team if they played the 99 team in a one-off game. I think that 08 attack, Tevez, Ronaldo and Rooney would probably get at the back four.
I think you could argue the attack, but that's it. I'll give you the attack. That would be the only positions that I would give you, because there is no way that the midfield team from 08 is anywhere near the midfield of 99, and no way. You've got Dennis Irwin and Gary Neville. Dennis Irwin, one of our greatest ever. You've got Jaap Stam and you've got Peter Schmeichel. You could maybe make an argument for Schmeichel against Van der Sar, yes, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with it. I'd go with Schmeichel. So I'd say 9 of that 11, or 8 at the very least, would be better than the 08 team.
I still think as a unit, Schmeichel probably well past his best in 99. Okay, he made obviously some very important saves like the FA Cup semi-final, which helped them win the 3. But Van der Sar, Brown was actually really good that year. I know some people look at that team and look at Wes Brown as probably the weak link, but I thought he offered a lot of balance on the right. And you look at the rest of their defence, you had Vidic, Ferdinand.
We're getting way too bogged down with this.
And Patrice Evra. I actually think that's a really good back five. I'd probably take that back five over the 99 back five. Midfield, I'll give to Kev. I think the midfield's better in the 99.
I'm sure there'll be mention of Patrice Evra on the way, but we do start with events tonight at Wembley, Will.
We do. Newport facing Tottenham at Wembley, looking to cause one of the biggest FA Cup shocks ever. The League 2 club earned a 4th round replay by drawing 1-1 with the Premier League side last month. Newport nearly won the game. A fantastic header from Porrick Ammond from Carlo in the first half. And he says they can take plenty of confidence from that drawn game.
We've led Spurs for over 45 minutes nearly in the game. We were only 8 minutes away from knocking them out. So if we can put in a performance like we did that day, we have a chance.
Ammon starts up front for Newport in the game as well. Looks like he could be a lone figure up front for them as they've gone 4-5-1. Interesting Spurs team news, they have decided to leave Ericsson, Ali and Harry Kane on the bench ahead of the game.
Text in on the subject of diving. If it's the other team, it's outrageous, but when it's your side, fans turn a blind eye to diving. I mean, did Kev ever pull up either Duffer or Keano for throwing themselves to the floor whenever someone sneezed in their direction from Chippy?
It's a great
thank
point.
you for the text, Mr.
It's
Brady.
a great point. It is a great point. No matter how we look at it, it is.
Have you ever chastised one of your own teammates for diving?
No, I haven't.
Ever?
I haven't. No.
Why not?
Well, I would be of the opinion that I'd be always like this one. If you're in a penalty, I mean, even have had it myself. Maybe when you're running at a defender and you take the contact, and any manager would have said it to you. Well, you have to go over. You have to go over. If
but
you're taking
that's
that
what
contact.
Pochettino is talking about in terms
Well,
of.
he's not really. He's not really there.
But it's part of it, yeah.
No, it's not. I wouldn't be right to have a go at any of them for. Did you say Keano dived? I don't remember. I don't recall Keano diving too much. Do you? Do you?
We'll move on.
Well, give me some examples. I don't remember him diving too much.
Would Keane have had a go at somebody if?
Of course he wouldn't.
Who?
Roy Keane. If he saw someone on the Irish team have a dive, would he have a go?
No chance. No.
Virtuous creatures, the entire Ireland squad, never dived once. We mentioned Patrice Evra.
Of course, never happened, Rich.
We did, and he is signed for West Ham until the end of the season. The 36-year-old arrives as a free agent, having been out of club since he left Marseille in November. That was after he kicked one of the club's fans before a game in the Europa League. That instance saw Evra be banned from UEFA competitions until the rest of the season, but he is able to play domestically for West Ham. So West Ham are likely to have 2 pretty old fullbacks on the wings.
They will, yeah. Zabaleta's in there. James Collins as well is north of 34, as is Jose Fonts. Odd signing, but it seems like on the surface a decent one. I
mean, I'm led to believe that he was excellent when David Moyes was manager. I've read various things that said that he didn't get on with David Moyes, and that was maybe one of the relationships that has been spoken about being strained. But no, I think it was the total opposite. David Moyes speaks very, very highly of Patrice Evra, always did. Being a consummate pro, great to have around, and always willing to help others. So I totally could see that happening. Yeah, it's just how old he is. What can he actually contribute to West Ham? That's the only thing. You mentioned the Zabaletas and the Collins.
He hasn't really played since October either.
No, exactly. It's going to take him maybe a month or so to get up to speed fully as well. Let's see how it goes with that. But you're kind of reliant upon him for the last maybe 2 months of the season, and West Ham are in trouble as it is. So it's a big call from David Moyes to get him in.
Is it surprising that teams don't make more of an effort to take that pool of players? Because there are still ones out there. You always see those articles of the 10 players that your club still could still sign after the January transfer window closes. Evra was one of those in there, this year. On the other end of the scale, you'll see the Maravan Shamaks and the Croton Coles of this world still looking for a club. Samir Nasri, but Samir Nasri to a degree is still, on the surface, a decent enough player. It's a matter of application.
Yeah. I mean, I think what clubs tend to do when they've got a player that's out of contract coming towards the end of a transfer window, they'll always concentrate on maybe the signings that they need to get over the line, who maybe whether that be with a fee that would be involved or needing to get that sort of transfer negotiated with a separate club. They can always fall back on a player when the window closes. That's the thing that usually would happen. So that's where you might tend to see players that's maybe out of contract. They can actually go and wait 2 or 3 weeks after, prove the fitness, and then they can actually go and sign them after the window closes.
There's loads of Evra stories knocking around, not least from Samuel Luckhurst, the journalist based out of Manchester today. I didn't realise the story either. He said didn't think Patrice Evra would reunite with David Moyes after he bizarrely defied him at Manchester Airport. Moyes told the players not to raid the private lounge buffet. Evra asked why not, ignored Moyes' explanation, and then he ate a bacon roll in front of him. There's defiance, isn't there?
It is, that's all. Yeah.
I mean, it's better than flicking the V's at your own fans. Kevin Kilbane.
I know. Who would do that, Rich? Who on earth would do that?
August 5th, 2002. Kevin Kilbane's Sunderland career could be over after the Republic of Ireland winger gave the V sign to travelling supporters in Belgium. Kilbane offered a heartfelt apology to fans following his gesture in the 2-1 defeat by Ghent on Saturday night, but it might not be enough to save his Sunderland career, with his former club West Brom preparing a £2.5 million fee. Kev, you bad boy.
That's old news, Rich. That's old news.
People think there's this veneer, this affable, wonderful, charming former Ireland international with 180 caps or whatever it is, and you're like the nice guy of Irish football. There you are, walking around Belgium, flicking the V's around.
Is that right? Yeah, it's old news, Rich. It's old news.
You seemed to be fairly chastised by this as well. You had a proper full statement of apology that was thrown in there as well.
You've not got the apology, Rich. Come on.
Kilbane later apologised, saying, "I deeply regret what I did. It was a moment of frustration and things just boiled over. I am devastated by the whole incident because it is always my aim to go out and try my best for the team and the supporters." That sounds like a really natural conversation that you definitely had.
Yeah, but you've been an arse now, so anyway. Should we move on, Will? Should we move on to the next one?
We'll move on.
Yeah, the PFA have offered to mediate between Riyad Mahrez and Leicester. Mahrez is unhappy a move to the Premier League leaders Man City didn't happen on transfer deadline day, and he missed training again yesterday. He wasn't there the day before either, and neither the club nor the player have taken up that offer from the PFA so far. Alexis Sanchez won't be going to prison, but he has been sentenced to 16 months for committing tax fraud in Spain. He'll avoid any jail time because of rules in Spain about a first offence. The 29-year-old was handed 2 8-month sentences today for evading around €1 million in tax during his time at Barcelona. Sanchez has agreed to repay the amount with interest and a further fine of €590,000 as well.
On the Mahrez thing, it's a long road back here to try and reintegrate him back into the side.
I know.
Missing a week's worth of training sessions and all that kind of stuff is
a strange one, isn't it?
Especially when you got Manchester City as your next game. I mean, it just seems like it's going to take a hell of a conversation with the PFA and with Claude Puel and whoever else.
That's just spot on. I think that's exactly what it'll be. The PFA will be involved and his agent as well. And you'd always think, sometimes when you're advising players, yes, of course you want to try and negotiate them the best deals, but you've got to have the player's best interest at heart as well. This cannot be of interest to Riyad Mahrez with what he's doing. They have to actually try and educate him or try to advise him in the right way to say, look, it's not gone through, but just get your head down. You're going to have to work hard to end the season. What else can you do now? I understand the frustration. I get that totally, because who's not going to want to go and win a Premier League title with Man City? Because that's what would happen to him this season.
Clearly you don't know Riyad Mahrez, but would he have been better served if Leicester had gone to him and said, listen, this bid is in from Man City, but look at where we are in the transfer window. There's literally no way that we're going to be able to reinvest this money and be able to salvage something from our season if we take and go now. By all means, you can go in the summer, just knuckle down and get things together. Is that an attitude, or is that a situation that a player might take on board?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think that's fair to say. But clubs, I think clubs get away with it a lot of the time. That's the problem. Riyad Mahrez, he's not exactly, doesn't come across great, does it? And he'll probably face criticism from his own supporters because of that. But sometimes clubs don't act in the best interest. They don't have that conversation with him. They're negotiating sometimes behind players' backs when players don't realise, and all of a sudden they're sold without any sort of prior warning. That's maybe gone on for years. Now, I'm probably with you to an extent with that's if they have that conversation said tomorrow is, look, it can't be done now, but we'll look after. I mean, I'm led to believe that conversation's been had 2 years ago or 18 months ago when he was first linked with a move away. That, look, knuckle down, work hard for us for 6 months, work hard for us for a year, and when the big offer comes in, then he will move on. Don't forget, he was bought by Leicester for 400 grand. 400 grand.
He's made a hell of a jump.
Well, it has. It's amazing. So, it does work both ways. And I think sometimes clubs certainly would release statements and certainly criticise a player. And I think it's quite harsh at times.
What news from Carton House, Will?
Well, it was a day off for the Irish rugby team today, but ahead of Ireland's Six Nations clash with Italy this coming Saturday, Joey Carbery says he prefers playing it out half rather than full back. Most of the Kildare man's rugby at Leinster this season has been in the 15 shirt, but he's trained at 10 this week, sparking some speculation that he could start ahead of Johnny Sexton this coming weekend. Kicking coach Richie Murphy had said yesterday that head coach Joe Schmidt was also considering selecting both in the same team, and Carbery admitted he feels more at home than out half.
I suppose I just want to get on the pitch, but I would like to get some game time at 10. Yeah, especially, but we'll have to see how things go, and hopefully I'll be involved this week. Probably more involved, get the ball more, and you can kind of implement yourself in the game a bit more as well. Pretty much 10. Been jumping in at 10, a little bit at 15 as well, just in case to kind of keep it ticking over, but it's been majority at 10.
Yeah, we'll see if he can work his way into that starting 15. The word seems to be that he may have to contend himself with a place on the bench. But don't forget, the Off the Ball Roadshow in association with Heineken Rugby Club returns on Friday, February 23rd with a Six Nations special at the Mansion House in Dublin. It's all in association with HeinekenRugbyClub.com. Last night we heard from Welsh legend JJ Williams. He's supremely confident about Wales' chances this year, and we'll have the pleasure of Martin Williams' company the night before Ireland take on Wales. Himself and Serge Betson will join Brian O'Driscoll, Keith Wood and the rest of the Off the Ball team. And on the night, you'll also have the chance to win some great prizes. To win a pair of tickets to the show right now, tell us, in which year did Martin Williams win his first Six Nations Grand Slam? In which year did Martin Williams win his first Six Nations Grand Slam? Text the word rugby, your name and your answer to 53106 430 cent, and we will announce the winner a little bit later on. It is the Off the Ball Roadshow in association with the Heineken Rugby Club, Friday, February 23rd at the Mansion House in Dublin. You can see offtheball.com/events for ticket details. Over 18s only. Drink Heineken responsibly and visit drinkaware.ie. Text on TV's Joe Malloy. How long before we see Joe on with Glenda talking about the new spring-summer collections hitting the shelves from Guineas? That comes in from Jono. I think it's pretty soon. It's got to be pretty soon.
Highly likely.
And lads, with all the Opta-stats out there, surely someone can crunch the numbers and solve the 07 versus 99 debate once and for all. Take the humans out of it and leave it to the computer. Somebody called Skynet from Richard in Limerick. I don't think that can end well. Placing your hands in the world of technology is never going to be a good look. Don't forget, still to come on the show, we will have Wednesday night rugby with Liam Toland and Rory O'Connor looking ahead to Ireland versus Italy and predicting what kind of starting 15 we're going to see against the Azzurri at the Aviva on Saturday. And up next, it's this man to my left talking to Lee Keegan.
Off the Ball on News Talk
in association with the Air Sport app, allowing you to cast your favourite sporting action from your tablet or mobile phone straight to your TV.
Moncrief.
Henry was out talking to people about hygiene and cleanliness, which of course gave us all the joy of judgment of others. My son changes his socks twice a week. The smell of them would knock you out. Nagging won't make him clean himself. Ah, God, that's rotten. Probably one of those situations where, frankly, your love for him is being tested quite severely, just because of its utter disgustingness.
Moncrief.
With Gas Networks Ireland.
Back tomorrow on News Talk.
Are you the next PR guru? Jump ahead in your career with a full or part-time masters from Griffith College. Apply now at griffith.ie.
At Expert Electrical, we're giving you the opportunity to trade in and trade up your old appliance. For this week only, we're taking €50 off selected Bosch appliances, including fridge